Hello, good people. Welcome to today's tutorial. Today we learn how to make this lovely cardigan. Today I'm using Robin brand. It's 100% acrylic yarn. It's a non-stretch yarn, and I think it's small to medium weight yarn. It's not written, but yeah, small to medium weight, I would think. We will need a crochet hook. Today I'm working with a 3.5 millimeter crochet hook. Okay, I think that's it. Now all we'll need is the crochet hook and the yarn. Making a foundation chain. The foundation chain will be the width of our cardigan. I normally do this by measuring the bust of my client. In this case, my client has a bust of about 40 inches. And so for the back panel, I go ahead and divide the 40 by 2 to make 20, in which case I would make a chain of 20 inches. Now, sometimes when you progress with your project, you realize that perhaps your foundation chain was long. So normally if I measure my foundation chain and it makes 20 inches when it's not stretched, I'll go ahead and subtract about 10 inches to cater for the stretch once you progress in the project. So go ahead, grab your yarn and make a chain. I'm making a chain of 90 for this particular client. You've made your foundation chain. We are going to work double crochets next. So to start my double crochet, I'll create another small chain of 3 that will form the first double crochet, and into the 4th stitch I'll work double crochets all the way until the end of the chain. So we are at the end of this row. Okay, that's what our first row looks like. Now for row 2, chain 1, turn your work and work a single crochet into every stitch. Work a single crochet into every stitch up to the end of that row. Okay, congratulations, you've come to the end of row 2. It looks like we've not done anything, but yeah, we're going to start making progress at row 3. So for row 3, please chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Turn your work and make a single crochet into that next stitch. And a single crochet into the next stitch. Okay, so this first chain, the chain here counts as a double crochet. Did I say single crochet? We are working in double crochets. So the first chain here counts as a double crochet, and that's the second double crochet, the third double crochet. Now this is where the magic begins. At the bottom, count this chain: 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to work a front post into this 4th double crochet here at the bottom. We're going to work a front post twice into that fourth stitch. Just watch it. I'll do it slowly so you can follow. So yarn over, go to the back of this chain, of rather that stitch, yarn over, pull your chain up. We're pulling them up because we don't want dwarf stitches. We want that stitch to be the same height as your earlier double crochets and the ones thereafter. So you've done that. Now yarn over again and work another back post, rather front post, into that same stitch and pull that up. Now you have 5 stitches on your rather 5 loops on your hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yarn over, pull through 4, yarn over, pull through those 2. So that's what it looks like. And for the next, you will work double crochet into that next stitch. That's 1 double crochet into the next stitch, another double crochet, those are 2, into the next stitch, another double crochet, those are 3. Then come back to the bottom and count 1. Don't count this front post, count the next, which is a double crochet. So count 1, 2, 3, and into the fourth we will make another front post twice. That's 1, yarn over, that's 2, yarn over, pull through 4, yarn over, pull through 2, and then work another double crochet into the next stitch, 1, double crochet into the next stitch, 2, and a double crochet into the next stitch, 3. Come back to the bottom and count 1, 2, 3, and into the fourth work a front post twice. 1, yarn over, 2, yarn over, pull through 4, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay. Now if you notice, if you turn your work a bit, pull it a bit like this, you will notice that there is a stitch over here. I don't know whether you can see it clearly, but we are skipping that stitch. I don't know whether you can see it. We are skipping that stitch at the back and working into the next. However, if you have your project up facing you, it's just the next stitch. You don't have to struggle to find it. Okay, so work 3 double crochet, 2, 3, come to the bottom, count 1, 2, 3, work a front post twice, 1, yarn over, 2, yeah. So keep going, and I will meet you at the end of the row and show you what to do next. Cheers, you've come to the end of row 3. That's what it looks like. Sorry, this color is a bit dull. I don't like to work with dull projects, but this is what my client ordered for. So anyway, that's the end of row 3. Now, chain 1, turn your work, and work single crochet into every stitch until you get to the end. work a single crochet into every stitch. Congratulations, you've come to the end of that row, which is row 1, 2, 3, 4. That was row 4. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Turn your work and yarn over and make a front post times 2 into, don't count this chain, leave that, and then into the next double crochet, work your front post times 2, 1, yarn over, 2, yarn over, pull through, 4, yarn over, pull through, 2, and then work a double crochet into the next stitch, 1 double crochet into the next stitch, and 1 double crochet into the next stitch. Those are 3 double crochet. Now between these 2 front posts you will see 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3. So we are interested in this middle double crochet. So yarn over and work a front post into that middle double crochet, yarn over again and work into that a front post, yarn over, loop through 4, yarn over, loop through 2, and make a double crochet into the next stitch, a double crochet into the next, and a double crochet into the next. Find the middle double crochet and work a front post into it. 1, 2 front posts, yarn over, loop through, yarn over, loop through. 1, 2, 3. Come to the bottom here, find the middle double crochet and work a front post times 2 into it. Okay, yarn over. I'll just do it slowly so you can follow. In case you need to pause, please do pause and observe carefully. Okay, so I just want to say something about a front post. Normally, a regular front post is done once like that, and then you yarn over, you loop through, and yarn over and loop through, and that's what it looks like normally. But in this case, we are working 2 front posts. Well, it's technically not 2 front posts, but we are working 2 front posts into that, but we do it this way. We don't loop through these, we hold them onto the hook and then yarn over again and into the same, make another front post, and then have your 5 loops on the hook. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yarn over, loop through 4, in which case you have 2 left, yarn over, loop through 2. So don't get confused about that, about the regular front post. This is a front post too, but slightly modified. Okay. And the other trick also is to make sure that you are always working into the middle double crochet at the bottom, because if you do not do it that way, then your pattern will be a bit weird. So always find that middle double crochet and work your front posts into them, you know. Even as you advance later in the project, make sure you're working into the middle in case you need to modify the beginning and the end of your double crochet rows. Always remember that you work the front posts into the middle double crochet at the bottom of that row. Okay, so that's what we're looking like at the moment. Just bring it closer for you to see. I think it would have been clearer with another color, but I hope you can follow this. Maybe I'll just make another patch of another color just for illustration purposes, that I'm working with this gray color because that's the color that my client chose. So keep going, and then I think I'll meet you 1 or 2 more rows and you continue working that pattern up to the length that you want, but keep working. Always remember to work into that last stitch so you can have straight edges, otherwise you'd have, edges facing all directions. You need your edges to be neat. Okay, so we finished that row of double crochets and front posts, and so I'm sure by now you've understood the trend that once we do this row of double crochets and front posts, the next row is always a row of single crochets. Okay, so you do single crochets, and the next row you do double crochet and front post, single crochet, double crochet and front post, single crochet, double crochet and front posts, until you get your desired length. So keep going until you get to your desired length. Somewhere in the middle I'll probably show you a more colorful illustration of the texture and the pattern, but I'm sure you've got the gist of it. Keep going. So this is what our back panel looks like now. I made it 20 inches wide and 20 inches long. I'll be adding later on, towards the end of the project, I'll add a band of about 2.5 inches to make it a length of about 22 to 23. But go ahead and again adjust according to your needs. This is what the texture looks like. I hope yours turned out like that as well. I promised to show you a colored patch brighter than the gray that we currently have, and this is what I made. Don't know whether you can see it well. That's it. That's the texture. The back side looks like this. So your back side should look something like that. Looks pretty as well. Okay. So that is for the front panel. Go ahead and divide the number of chains that you had at the back by 2. So my back panel had 90, a chain of 90. was a chain of 90. So when I divide that by 2, it should be 45. However, I'm not making 45. I'm subtracting 5 from that 45 to make a chain of 40. So this, my foundation chain, is 40 stitches. So the 5 stitches will cater for space for the band, because if you make 45, if you make the front panels 45, the other side also 45, then you'll not have space in the middle for making your band where you put buttons or a zipper, whatever you choose. So this is my chain of 40. Now we'll do it the same way that we made the back panel. I'll go ahead and make another small chain of 3, 1, 2, 3, yarn over, and count the 4th stitch from your hook, which is here. 1, 2, 3 into this. Work a double crochet. Okay. Work double crochets up to the end of your chain, and then for the next row you will work single crochet into every stitch, and then you will repeat the pattern that we used for making the back panel. So continue with that until you get to your desired length. Of course, the length for the front should match the length you have at the back. So these are our 2 front panels. I hope yours look similar to this as well. I made mine the same length as the back panel. Okay. So now we will go ahead and join the front and back panels. So I hope you are done making your front panels. This is one of my front panels, and I'll go ahead to join it to the back panel. Now just make sure that when you're joining, you're careful to make sure that you're not connecting the inner part to the outer part. You will know how, you figure it out as you start joining. So to join, I'll take the edge of one of my front panels and just loop the tapestry needle through it and find a corner of my back panel, and just do it that way. And then I'll just continue to stitch the 2 parts together. So this is what the part looks like where you joined from. When you flip it over, that is what it should look like. If you have a better way to make it neater, that would absolutely be lovely. But yeah, that's what it looks like. Now go ahead and do the same and join the other panel. So the 2 panels are both connected to the back panel, and now it should look something like that. Okay. I would recommend that you do not join the other parts until we've made the sleeve. I will show you how to make the sleeve. So our next step is to create the sleeve. I went ahead and made this one sleeve, and I'll show you how to make the sleeve. So go ahead and make a chain for the wrist length that you require. we are first making the ribbing for this part of your arm. So my preferred chain is 21, preferred length is 21. So go ahead and make your preferred length of the chain to if you're done making your preferred length, chain one more and flip the chain around, work slip stitch into the back of the chain. You will notice I'm using a smaller hook now because it's easier to do that with the ribbing. But if you don't have a smaller hook size, it's no problem. So work into the back of each stitch. It's a bit difficult, but just take your time and do that. Work into the back. Doesn't matter if you don't get it right, you can still tuck this part of the sleeve so that it's not visible. So just keep going until you are at the end of the chain, then I'll come back and show you what to do next. This is what it's looking like. Not so neat, but that's okay. So chain one, turn your work and find those back loops, and we are working to the back. We are working slip stitch into the back. Okay. Make them a bit loose so that they are easy to work with. This here will be the length of your wrist from there to there will be the length of your ribbing. Okay, if you want it longer, make the foundation chain longer. So you will then work the width of the wrist, and I'll show you from this finished one. So that will be the width. So work the number of rows that you need to create the width of your wrist. So I made 21 ridges. Is it 21 or 26? If you stretch it out like that. So count these off, count those ridges to the width that you want. So to create that width, you'll just keep making your rows going back and forth until you reach your preferred width of the wrist. Keep doing that, and I'll find you at the end after you've made your ribbing. Then I'll show you what to do next. Always remember to work into that last stitch. Sometimes it's hard to get into those tight corners. That's why I use a smaller hook size. But always remember to work into that, because if you don't, your ribbing will come out looking crooked. Okay, so that's my ribbing. I have made the width that I that I prefer. I guess I should show it to you like that. So that's the width of my ribbing. When eventually it's folded, it will look something like that. Okay. So let me show you how to then build your sleeve. Now that you've completed your ribbing, work single crochet across the top of the ribbing. We are now starting to build the sleeve. So first I'll chain one and then work into the middle of the ribbing. It will be a bit tight, that's why I'm still using a smaller hook. Just go ahead and randomly place your single crochet in there. So single crochet is done like this. You do not have to yarn over twice, just go in like that, yarn over, pull through two, make them a bit loose, so not too loose that they become untidy, but loose enough to work with. So just randomly place in your single crochet. Make sure they are not too spaced out. I would say maybe at the top of the ridge and in the middle of the ridge, wherever you can place a single crochet. So keep going until you get to the end of that top part. So I'm back with my big hook. You've worked single crochets into that. Now chain two, work a double crochet, another double crochet, and then work two double crochets. So after three double crochet, work two double crochet into the same stitch. So I have worked two double crochet into that stitch. Now I'm going to work three double crochet that are separate. That's one, in the next, another one, in the next chain, rather double crochet two in the same stitch, in the next one, two, three, and into the fourth one work two double crochet into the same stitch. Okay, one, two, three, and then two double crochet into the next stitch. So what we are doing is actually starting to expand our sleeve. One, two, three, and into the next two double crochet. One, two. So keep doing that until you get to the last stitch. Okay, so it should look something like that. Now to chain one, turn your work, and then work single crochet into every stitch across that row. So that's what it's looking like. Now you will, if you count these, you count the single crochets here and the top double, the top, rather you count the double crochet here and the top single crochet. Mine are 56 from this double crochet to the last double crochet. Now if you want to expand it as you go, I'll show you how to expand. I started with a base here of 56 double crochet, and I worked that, but I added in some stitches, and by the end of my sleeve I had a sleeve of 60. I counted at the end of the sleeve, and I had 60 double crochet. So I'll show you how to expand if while you're working you realize you need to make your sleeve a little wider. So that's it. Now chain 2, turn your work, and we are now going to start working the front posts like we did before. So you work here a front post twice, so basically we go back to the pattern that you used for creating the back sleeve, rather the back panel and the front panel. Work 1, 2, 3, count 1, 2, 3 from the bottom, working to the 4th, a front post twice. So if you've forgotten, just go back to the part where we created the back panel and follow the pattern. So that's the same pattern you'll follow for making the rest of the sleeve. I'll come back and show you how to add a stitch in case you realize somewhere in the middle that your sleeve is probably too small. You know, the arm also becomes bigger as you go up. It's smaller at the wrist and expands by the time you get to the top of it. Okay. So I said I would show you how to increase in case you're working and you realize you probably need to make your sleeve wider. So when you come to the end of that row where you are working double crochet and front posts, what you do is just continue normally, and into this last stitch work 2 stitches, 2 double crochet. Later on when you come to make more front posts and double crochet, that stitch will help you to expand your work a little more. So you can do that, keep fixing them, but what I would advise is that you don't do, like if you've fixed an extra stitch there, make maybe some 3 to 4 more rows before you introduce another one, so that you don't introduce sharp angles to your work. So that's it. We are almost coming to the end of the number of rows that I need. I'm making this up to 21 inches. Then I'll meet you and show you how to join this to the rest of your cardigan. Then we will start to work on the bands for the bottom and the middle where you put the buttons. Okay, so carry on and we will meet when you're done making your sleeve. So the sleeve is done. This is it, complete. I made 21 inches. Now we are joining this, the sleeve, to this, the main part of the cardigan. And find the middle part of your sleeve. So that's it. Okay, that's the middle part of the sleeve. And then find the middle part of, rather the place where you joined the back panel to the front panel, so that half of the sleeve will be on the back panel and the other half of the sleeve will be joined to the front panel. So once you've done that, go ahead and join the sleeve to the rest of your cardigan. Okay. I forgot to tell you that top width of my sleeve was 14, about 14 inches. So I think 14 inches of the sleeve should be wide enough for the average person. So I have joined um, the sleeve to the main body of the cardigan. So now I need to seal off the rest of the sleeve. So go ahead and fold your cardigan again. So this is what we are sealing off, this part, joining the sleeve. Okay, join that up. So to join the sleeve, find the middle part, find the sleeves basically where the sleeves start, where the sleeves are joined to the rest of the cardigan. Find that spot and then start joining your sleeve. So we are now making the bottom band of the cardigan. Go ahead and attach yarn from one corner of the bottom end, which is one corner of the front panel. Attach your yarn and then work a single crochet in every stitch across that line until you get to the other corner of your cardigan. I would recommend that you do not take a shortcut here. Do not work double crochet right away. Start with single crochet. If you work double crochet, your band will come out looking a bit bulky and not so neat. So first work single crochet in every stitch until you get to the other corner, and then I'll come back and show you what to do. If you're done with a single crochet up to the end, make a chain of 2, turn your work and make a double crochet in every stitch. Double crochet in every stitch up to the end. When you get to the end of that row, chain 2, turn your work and work a front post. That's how you work the front post. Go behind, come out through the front and make a double crochet. So we are alternating front post, back post, front post, back post. When you get to the end of that row, make a chain of 2, turn your work, and where you have a front post, work a front post, and where you have a back post, work a back post, work a front post into that front post, back post into the back post. Uh, Work front posts into front posts, back posts into back posts until you get to the desired, your desired size of the band. Okay, and I think I'll meet you when we are ready to start working on the middle band and to put buttonholes and buttons. So yeah, your ribbing is starting to take shape. So all front posts will be here and all back posts will be behind. Okay, enjoy that part of the video of your project. So this is what the bottom band looks like. I made 6 rows. So now we will start to make the middle ribbing. This is the last stitch on the bottom ribbing. So for the middle ribbing, chain 1, and then we are going to work here at this edge. This is one of the front panels. So we are working from the bottom of this bottom ribbing. Okay, in case you fastened off and cut your yarn, just reattach it at the edge here, and let's do single crochet across that entire edge the same way that we did at the bottom. Just make sure that your single crochets are not so spaced out. So I am introducing buttons to the right hand side of my cardigan. When I wear it, it's the right flap. I guess that's where the buttonholes are supposed to be for a feminine cardigan. So to create a buttonhole, chain 2, 1, 2, and skip that post, and then post into the next. So there you are, you've introduced a hole. I'll just show you what it looks like with a button going through it. So this is my button, and that's how it is. But yeah, go ahead to do that. If you need bigger buttons, then make a chain maybe of 3 and skip 2 posts. So then carry on like that until you get to the next spot where you want to place another buttonhole. So yeah, that's how you introduce buttonholes. And I guess that's pretty much all that I needed to show you in this video on how to create this, what I'm calling a silly strings cardigan. I'm calling it silly strings because of its texture, which reminds me of those silly strings they use for parties alongside party poppers. So if you liked the video, please share, like, subscribe, and I'd also like to hear from you. Leave a comment down below and let me know what other content you like to see in future. Thank you for sticking with me. Bye.